winning this fight tonight with our name lit up in lights. We are the new kings, winning this fight tonight with our name lit up in lights.
Friday Night Stars, presented by Whataburger. When tangy Southern-style sauce and slaw meet a bacon cheese Whataburger, you get the Southern Bacon Double Burger. 2 patties, bacon, cheese, pickles, onions, and slaw on a 5-inch bun. Back for a limited time at participating locations.
Well, it is almost playoff time here in Texas, and this is Friday Night Stars. Bill Jones along with Kyle Youmans. It's World Series baseball time in Texas, and almost as good as high school football playoff time. Got 2 weeks left to go before the playoffs start, but we got some great matchups this week, Kyle.
Yeah, you've got the Boys of Fall in high school football. You got the Fall Classic. I'm just looking for the fall weather. That's the last thing that needs to show up in Dallas-Fort Worth because it's been hot the last couple of weeks. Maybe we'll start to see more of that football weather as we inch closer and closer to playoffs, but it is a great time of year.
You know, in the first couple of games we're going to talk about here on this edition of Friday Night Stars, it's almost like a playoff preview, deep in the playoff preview, as how about a couple of state champions to kick it off here. Our Whataburger game of the week. This was a no-brainer in District 11-6A. It is the number 1 ranked Duncanville Panthers, the number 3 ranked DeSoto Eagles, both coming off state championship seasons last year.
Yeah, for the first time ever, and this is a rivalry that, of course, runs deep between these two programs. And you take a look at really the two titans that these programs are. Not only do they match up on the field and with the state titles, but they match up in almost every single category. This is the heavyweight battle of the year. One of the best games I think you'll see in the entire state of Texas, maybe across the country, between two old friends at the head coaching spot as well. I'll start with the Duncanville Panthers. I mean, Keelan Russell has done a phenomenal job. High caliber weapons on the outside. 5-star receiver Takarian Moore has been fantastic this year. And it's hard not to dive into the prep looking at this Duncanville Panthers, a program that's normally led by their defense. Looking at the offense as the ones that really set the tone, that's what it's been for Duncanville. For DeSoto on the other side, they have not lost a game since they lost last year, 41-17 to this Duncanville program. DJ Bailey at the quarterback spot has been nearly perfect. 1,700 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, has not thrown an interception. DeSoto looking for their first win over the Panthers since 2016. You want to talk about the score of that game? It was 41-17 DeSoto. So the last time one of these two programs won 41-17, the next year started a winning streak for the Duncanville Panthers. DeSoto trying to repeat history in their favor this time around.
Now, we're fired up about this game, but I wonder how fired up the folks in Duncanville and DeSoto are. Well, maybe this is an example from DeSoto head coach Claude Mathis.
It's coming! It is coming! They can't do nothing about it!
Wow, how about that? And how about this matchup? And we're going to take a look going forward here, our second matchup of the week. You know, I think in DeSoto and in Duncanville, they are almost as fired up as they are in Trophy Club and Southlake as we get to our matchup of the week, a battle of unbeatens in District 4-6A. Yes, it's the Carroll Dragons against the Byron Nelson Bobcats, who are not only 8-0, but both these teams are putting up astronomical numbers this season.
Yeah, it's time to decide District 4-6A, and Byron Nelson feels like they have a shot in this one. I mean, this is a Southlake team that, of course, has had some great success underneath Coach Dodge, but really you talk about the something has to give mentality, the Dragons defense versus this highly vaulted Byron Nelson offense. Let's talk about Southlake first. Last year, Owen Allen had 5 touchdowns in this game. They're going to have to rely on a couple of the newcomers in this number 1 offense in the area at the 6A level. They put up 70 points in their last 2 matchups, and some might look at their last week's win over VR Eaton and say they gave up a season-high 28 points, but that's because they were up 63-14 at the halftime break, Bill Jones. This offense does not let up. Neither does Byron Nelson, though. They've been known over these last couple of years of being able to put up some big-time numbers. Their quarterback, Tom Van Grody, has done a great job. Van Grody, 1,900 yards, 24 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But that's not the only weapon on that offense. They can hand it off to Tucker Jones behind the line of scrimmage, their tailback. 20 touchdowns on the season. What Byron Nelson will have to do if they have a chance to win this game, they got to shorten the game. Run the football effectively, take care of it as well, avoid the turnovers. If you're able to do those two things, this Byron Nelson squad is going to find a chance, maybe trying to make this close down the stretch.
They got D1 prospects, D1 recruits on defense and on offense. And South Lake Carroll missing one of their D1 recruits is Jacob Jordan, the wide receiver, is out with a fractured foot, but they do have a quarterback, Graham Knowles, who is committed to Georgia Tech. All right, matchup number 3 this week. Let's go to Class 5A, District 5, 5A, Division 1. The Timberview Wolves coming off a 90-0 win last week against equally unbeaten Richland High School.
Yeah, look at Richland and what they've done just to get to this point at 8-0, but it's been Mansfield Timberview that has just absolutely rolled through their competition. They beat Sunset last week 90-0. They post the top offensive area, 5A area numbers with 480 yards per game, but they also put up the top 5A defensive area numbers with 132 yards per game allowed, but it starts with their quarterback, Zurich Humes, and what he brings to the table. Hume is just a phenomenal athlete. He can throw it, he can run it, he has that balanced attack, and then the defense gets after the football, forcing those turnovers as well. But watch out for Drew Cates at the quarterback position for Richland and the Royals. He has 1,400 yards passing this season, 17 touchdowns, the balanced attack there. They can run it, they can throw it as well, but they're just fundamentally sound. That's what Richland does well. That's why they've gotten to the 8-0 start this year as well, because they take care of the football, they don't make a ton of mistakes, and they're going to have to keep that same sort of mentality against this Timberview bunch.
And Drew Cates, the son of head coach Jed Cates, and by the way, they have an offensive lineman, 6'4", 295-pound Daniel Cruz, who is committed to the University of Texas. Matchup number 4, our games of the week this week. How about back to Class 6A here? District 5, 6A. Prosper leads the way in this district, but right behind them, the McKinney Lions and the Denton Guyer Wildcats, both at 4-1 in district play.
Yeah, both of these teams, of course, at the Division II level of the 5A ranks could certainly take that, of the 6A ranks, are going to stay in that classification behind some of those bigger schools as well. McKinney, 7-1, looking to rebound. They lost to Allen in Week 8 and then barely edged out Rock Hill last week, 26-22. The defense has been playing better, but they're going to have to get back to that two-headed attack on the ground game. They have so many weapons to throw the football to on the outside. They can run the football effectively. They need to get back to using the ground in their advantage if McKinney and the Lions are going to have a chance up against this Guyer bunch. Guyer losing to Aledo and Prosper early on. They've won 4 straight since then, including a 24-18 win last week over Allen. This is a much different Guyer team since Isaac Harvey stepped in at the quarterback position. He's played phenomenal, nearly 1,200 yards passing, 15 touchdowns through the air. Different Guyer ball club, lots of confidence after losing 2 of their first 4 games. They're going to try and keep that confidence growing against a really stout McKinney Lions bunch. But if McKinney can run the football effectively, it'll be tough for Guyer to get the win.
Really says a lot about Reed Himes' team at Denton Guyer. They lose Jackson Arnold, the Landry Award winner from last year, Peyton Bowen, who's starting at Oklahoma as a true freshman this year, and they're putting this kind of season together. All right, we're just getting started here on this edition of Friday Night Stars. Next up, it's our showdowns at the Star as we take a look at Frisco ISD in just a moment.
This segment was brought to you by Whataburger. What's better than Whataburger? How about more Whataburger? Download the Whataburger app and start earning points toward free food with Whataburger Rewards.
It's time for another showdown at the Star. We are within a half hour of kickoff inside Ford Center at the Star in Frisco for this Tonight's game, the Frisco Raccoons against the Lone Star Rangers. What a matchup that is. And tomorrow night, it's Lebanon Trail against Liberty High School. And to kick things off here, though, Kyle, let's talk about tonight's game there. What a matchup that is in District 6-5A Division I.
Yeah, two really good teams. I mean, a different Frisco bunch. We've talked about it before, how they switched from the wing tee into the spread. And then Lone Star looking a lot like the Lone Star of the past for Jeff Rayburn and his ball club. They have the lead in that district, but behind them, it's a close fight between Frisco and Reedy, and then 2 spots back, Wakeland and Heritage are tied for that 4th spot. Things are about to get crazy when there's 5 teams jockeying for position for 4 playoff spots, and they're all separated by 2 games. District 6-5A, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun down the stretch.
Okay, and how about tomorrow night's game, Lebanon Trail against Liberty? Let's hear from the Trailblazers of Lebanon Trail High School.
Well, I would say this about the program. It's more becoming a true Lebanon Trail program. When we first opened up the school, we opened up school with freshmen only, and I would say the majority of those kids had older brothers and sisters that graduated from Centennial High School or Frisco High School or Liberty High School, so their allegiance wasn't really with Lebanon Trail. Now we've been here, this is our 8th year here, and now our kids that are coming through the school have older brothers and sisters who've graduated from Lebanon Trail, and so they're true trailblazers. And so we're starting to get a foundation of culture and tradition that's starting to happen at Lebanon Trail, and things are starting to come together.
Just like any team we're going to play this year, it's all winnable for us, but it just matters if we come out and play 2 halves. We've been stuck playing 1 half football games, and if we come out playing 2 halves, I think there's a high likelihood of us coming out with a W.
Our offense has definitely been getting better and better every week. We're playing harder. We're just working harder to reach our goal. We just got a couple more things we need to work on, and we'll be pretty hard to stop for the most part.
District 6-5A is arguably one of the toughest from top to bottom in the state of Texas. So, you know, Frisco played good football out here, and, you know, it doesn't get any easier from week to week. So we got to be ready and prepared to try to go out and give us our best shot and put ourselves in a position to try to win the game when it counts.
It's exciting to play at the Star, one, for all the younger kids that have not ever played at the Star. It brings a lot of energy. It's a different environment for sure. It's loud, the lights, everything, the band being in there. So I think it's going to be an amazing experience for them.
So Lebanon Trail and Liberty playing indoors at Ford Center. Meanwhile, on Friday night, outdoors at Toyota Stadium. How about the matchup between Heritage High School and Reedy High School, Kyle?
Man, this is going to be a fun one. I just talked about it a couple moments ago prior to hearing about Lebanon Trail, how this Heritage bunch is trying to keep tabs with the Wakeland Wolverines. I mean, Heritage and Wakeland tied for that 4th spot right now, but the advantage would go in favor of Wakeland. So you look at it down the stretch, this is a huge matchup for the Coyotes. The Reedy Lions, on the other hand, trying to keep tabs with that Frisco Lone Star bunch as they're trying to repeat as champions of 6-5A. 2 really good ball clubs. Reedy trying to get back up top with Lone Star, Heritage trying to hold on to a playoff spot.
And I bet you after this week it will take a half hour to figure out the playoff scenarios in that district when you got 5 teams that closely bunched battling for 4 playoff spots in that district. All right, when we continue here on Friday Night Stars, let's go out west in the lower classifications. It's the Brock Eagles when we come back in just a moment.
This segment is brought to you by Whataburger. If you're a Whataburger shake fan, I have 2 words for you: banana pudding. That's right, the Whataburger Banana Pudding Shake is back on the menu, but only for a limited time.
We're going to get better. Everything we do, we're going to go get better. Week in, week out, day by day, minute by minute. We're going to be watching film in the morning. We're going to be in that weight room 6:30 in the morning on Monday morning, getting ready to go play Ponder. So we're going to enjoy this victory right here, and we'll go celebrate a little bit. But, you know, we got bigger plans ahead of us. You know, next week's game will be just as big as this one.
Billy Mathis, the head coach of the Brock Eagles, a big win last week over Paradise, a matchup of 2 top 10 ranked teams in the state of Texas, as Brock comes in at number 4 this week, and Paradise doesn't drop out of the top 10. They are at number 10, and those Brock Eagles, they do it in every sport, both boys and girls. It is a powerful athletic tradition there.
Oh, no doubt about it. And anything that Brock does, they feel like they can just one-up themselves year after year. It was kind of a rocky start to the season, but the way that they've turned things around, they're very deserving of that number 4 spot and could continue to grow. But the Central Texan in me has to point out the Lorena Leopards down there too, defending state champions. I grew up down the road from Lorena, so had to throw it out there just as a 254 shout out.
There you go. All right. Well, let's hear more though from that school out west of Fort Worth, Brock High School.
The loss to Franklin last year was as heartbreaking as any game that I'd ever been into, you know, and just the whole season was starting out 0-4, the way we did. And, you know, once district came around, we started hitting our stride, and, you know, we went on that 11-game win streak. And really, as crazy as it is, we go and we make it to the state championship game, and I'm thinking in my mind, I was like, this is a season of destiny. You know, this is our year. Even as the game was going down, you know, they had scored, they were up, and they were driving that last drive, and I just kept telling the guys, hold on, boys. We're about to get a fumble. Something's about to happen. I just thought it was destiny. We were going to do something, and they lined up for that last field goal. I just knew it was storybook. We're blocking the field goal, we're running back, and we're winning.
It is good. The Franklin Lions are back-to-back state champions of Texas.
When it went through the uprights, you want to talk about the air being taken out of you and looking at all the boys and, man, seeing the disappointment. We go into this offseason, they're as hungry as a group that I've ever been around. From being able to get in here every morning to lifting weights, to running track, to summer workouts, to the 7-on-7 group of guys that their mindset is, you know, we want to win state. The hunger's in their eyes every day. The hunger's in the way they work. And, you know, it's the same way with the coaches and the same way with this town. It's a town that's hungry. They're excited. Been close these last 2 years. And, you know, people always say, man, there's a million people that love to be in your shoes and just have a chance to make the state championship game. And there are. But when you're there and you lose it, you feel like, how can second place be so heartbreaking?
You know, Brock used to be one of those schools, their main sport was basketball. And then they started up that football program, and it's a football hotbed now in Brock.
And a credit to Coach Mathis is the way that he's helped build that thing. And just in a couple of years, he's turned that into a state power. It was a state power when he took it over, but it's one thing from going one coach to another and keeping that success alive.
Let's go to another coach when we come back here on Friday Night Stars. A coach you're very familiar with, Jason Witten and his Liberty Christian team, when we come back in just a moment.
Friday Night Stars, presented by Whataburger. The buttery, flaky Whataburger jalapeno cheddar biscuit that you know and love is back. If you don't know it, well, it's here. For a limited time only at participating locations, served 11 p.m. to 11 a.m.
This game changed my life, and we're not going to cheat it here in this program. And so it starts with great love for the game and love for each other and everything that we do. We're going to be very honest with them, transparent. We're here to help them and be a service to them in anything that we can. This is a pivotal time in their life. There's a lot of things that are going on 16-year-old kids' life right now, and we want to help them kind of navigate it and walk and partner with them and their parents. And I think hard work, right? We talk about lifting weights and our practices. They're tough. They're not easy, and being accountable to that. And so we just try to build it on repetition over and over and over, and watching film and learning from that. And our kids have just been sponges the entire way, and I think they've gotten some confidence, had some success, and they've been a really fun season for us so far.
It was great sitting down with Jason Witten last week. Yes, his Liberty Christian Warriors, located in Argyle, now 8-0 on the season. Big game against Fort Worth All Saints this week. And he gets to coach his two sons, Cooper, a junior, CJ, a freshman, and they look like they're following in Dad's footsteps.
No doubt. They have an intensity to them that feels like Jason Witten back in his day in a Cowboys uniform. But what a job he's done. 2-8 in year one. 10-2 in year 2, and now they're undefeated. Can they run the table? I think their matchup with All Saints this week is going to tell the tale of what Jason Witten's squad can finally achieve.
He's just taken up after his brother, who has won multiple state championships back in Elizabethton, Tennessee. So Liberty Christian and All Saints, that's one of the other big notable games this week. You got Saxe Wiley. You got Allen against Prosper. That's a big game in Whitney and Grandview.
Yeah, Allen and Prosper. I mean, Allen, a team we talked about rocky starts, but traditionally very strong. That is a good indication of that Allen bunch. They fell last week to Denton Geyer. Can they get back on track against another top 20 opponent? Prosper has been really good this season. That's going to be a rock fight from the jump. Really good slate of games. We talked about our key games. Even some of the other notables are fantastic this week.
It's going to be a great weekend for high school football and postseason baseball, too. The World Series. For Kyle Youmans, I'm Bill Jones, and we will see you again next week here on Friday Night Star.